I just want to say thank you to everyone who watches my YouTube channel. And if you don't think a Savannah monitor will play tug of war, you're wrong. Because they will. And they're actually really good at it. There we go. So if you guys like my videos, ooh, he's strong. Please go ahead and leave a like. That helps grow my channel. Also, please comment on my videos. I love interacting with you guys. It's a lot of fun, and I get to answer questions and see that you guys care. And if you're not a member of the family, you can go ahead and subscribe. It's free. It helps me grow the channel even more. And I've listened to you guys, and I do have a Patreon down below. Oh, alligator death roll. So please go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, bell icon. Here we are. There's Mr. Freeze. Hi, Mr. Freeze. So many people said hi to you, first of all. He's a big fan. He's a very big boy. He's been eating some greens. Doing real good. Now, we're not here for Mr. Freeze, though. What are we here for? We're here for this. What is this? Zoomed, #1 in reptile products worldwide. You know, I would like to say that that's true. But you know where you're not #1, Zoomed, worldwide in terms of quality? Are your tanks, or at least this tank. So I'm going to talk about this tank, and I'm going to compare it to Exo Terra, which would be their, I would say, direct competitor in your, 50-gallon setup here to use for whatever type of reptile, whatever you want. But it's really a reptile enclosure, right? And here's this bold claim. This sticker right here, they stick it right on the front. You got to peel it off. It's a pain in the butt to get off cleanly. With their logo, #1 in reptile. Look at Mr. Freeze. He's like, what the heck? So this is their 50-gallon tank. And guys, it sucks. I mean, it sucks. Zoomed, what were you thinking when you built this tank and you want to put this sticker on the front and you want to compare it to, now you're not claiming that this product is #1, but that's what people are going to think. You're going to say the Zoomed brand. And I use a ton of Zoomed stuff. Zoomed light posts, domes, etc. But what were you thinking when you passed and said this tank is a good tank? Because it's not. And I'm going to talk about why. And I'm going to talk to why the Exo Terra is better and why I actually wanted this tank, because this tank should be cool for Bearded Dragon. But it sucks. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. And it's going to come down to one thing that could be a problem. Either A, it's a bad design, bad engineering, or it's bad quality assurance. And I don't think it's bad quality assurance. So what's the problem with this tank? Let's not beat around the bush. You guys know it sucks. It's got things that were designed actually that I think, if all of this was done correctly, would make this better than Exo Terra. They're at the same price point. So what are the reasons why it should be better? Okay, why should it be better? One is, everyone knows Exo Terra, you've got your front opening glass, okay? There are 2 doors. We're going to open them in just a second. And with Exo Terra, you have that one latch in the middle. And when you undo that latch, you've undone the little sliding lock for both doors, and then you can open both doors. Well, Zoomed got rid of that. This is what I think should make this really sweet. They have individual latches here to open the doors. So I can open the left door and the right door stays shut. Look at that. It's latched. That's great. It's amazing. Also, look here. See these? You can individually lock. If you were to close these, put in a little tab. I mean, even if you put in a little piece that doesn't have a lock on it, just a second secure, but you can individually lock both doors. Is that a minus? Is that a plus because you require 2 locks? I don't know. But I don't think it's a negative. I think it's fine. Especially if they have the same key. Okay, great. If you got one of those locks that had, like the little metal cable, it could easily feed through both and you could lock both. So that's fine.
handle-wise, in terms of opening, also a better idea than Exo Terra. I know some people complain because of the Exo Terra, you have that little knob to kind of grab, and sometimes it's a pain. Well, with Zoom Ed, you have a lip here. It's got a good indentation. And then guess what? At the top, you've got a lip in here. So you can easily open these. That's great. This is how the little mechanism works. I think it's much higher quality than that little disc that's in the Exo Terra. I mean, off to a good start. You've got front venting. This is good. Okay. In fact, these holes are much smaller than the ones on the Exo Terra, so in terms of dirt and stuff getting out, I think that's better. The top. This is another, what I would say, great idea. So one of the complaints sometimes on the Exo Terra is if you have to get in here and do things, the top is all one piece, so you got to take off this big top. Well, with Zoom Ed, it's not. They have half and half. Okay. And then they also have openings for cable management, for your wires to come through on each side. All right, great. You can get the top off by, there's 2 tabs. So here and here, and then it slides out, and then you slide it back in. Okay. So far, these are all big pluses. It does not come with a back insert. And for some people, this could be a huge plus. Depending on the Reptile, you may not want a styrofoam back insert. You may just want a pictured background. That way you can utilize the glass on all sides and use suction cups. Certain things you want a back. Certain things, maybe you want glass. It depends on what you're keeping. So you don't always want that back insert. All right. Those are our pluses. What are our negatives? Why does this thing suck? It's the fit and finish of everything, guys, and you probably saw it in the beginning. You hear me trying to shut that door? Like, that was me shutting it with one hand. We'll get to that. Number 1, look at the doors. Do you notice anything? There's a big gap. Yeah, now you can really see it. There's a big gap in between these glass doors. What is that about? Exo Terra doesn't have that. Their doors butt up right next to each other. This gap that goes all the way down and all the way up to the top, that's inexcusable. What if I have a bearded dragon or another type of creature that has nails and one of its nails gets hooked through here? It easily can with this spacing in the glass. This quality assurance, this engineering problem, no, these doors need to come. If you can't figure out how to make the doors be perfect lengths so they come right up next to each other, then at least make the gap smaller. Another problem is they have a gap on the edge. Here. This is another gap, and it's another pretty decent sized gap. What's going on there? You can't get that a little bit closer? The other problem is this door mechanism that I think is sweet, but the plastic is extremely cheap on this tank. So much so that the top piece, it like sags down. Even with one of the doors open. Watch as I go to close this door. Look at this. It hits this piece because look at this tolerance. The whole thing is just a cheap, and this doesn't come off, this piece. It's not like it's not that it's a piece of this inner screen. No, this is that permanent outer boarding that goes around the side. It is so floppy, it's just weighted down. So when the door is off, you can't do it. You've got to either jam it in like you heard, and I don't want to crack it because it feels so flimsy. You have to pick it up and then get in there and shut. Why? Someone should have seen that and said, hey, we need to use a higher quality plastic, or we need to make it not as hollow so it doesn't lose its frame and dip down. That's a problem. Another problem. Also for this, bugs. Depending on what kind of bugs you feed, they could easily come out of here. Pain in the butt. The other problem, let's go to the top. Say you. This pops out, but there's big gaps in here. Let's say I was trying to cover this to make it hold humidity. So Exo Terra, I think you can do much better for two reasons. One is the whole latch thing. These latches here, like let's say that this front wasn't a problem, right? Everything I go through, I want to address it as if you fixed one problem, what's the next? This type of, these holes in here, they should not exist on these. This piece of plastic, again, the tab should have just went all the way over to make it so it's closed. I don't want a big hole that a bug can crawl out of, baby dubia roaches, whatever. The opening mechanism, although it feels cheap, it's fine. The glass on the top is fine. The holes on the back, here we are, another problem. On Exo Terra, you have that slider that's built in. So if you have a wire coming out like this thermostat of just one hole, you can slide the other two holes shut and then open and then shut. So if you're not using holes, you can cover them. There's no type of slider option for these. Why? I don't know. It's another oversight. Exo Terra does it, so it can be done. Price points are the same. Another thing is just, again, the fit. Look at the top here. Look at how it can be moved, exposing openings. But then I can move it and expose an opening on the other side. So this can move. You know, it doesn't fit right. Like it's not manufactured exactly to the right size. It's got way too much play in it. Not good. And then one final thing. Remember how I said maybe you're buying this because you want to have all glass. Well, good luck with that. I saw this and I was like, oh, you know what? Sweet. It comes with its own backdrop. Cool. I don't have to buy another, that they charge too much money for background to glue or tape to the back of the tank. Right? Wrong. This is a huge what were they thinking moment. This backdrop is like, piece of cardboard paper. It's nice, but guess what? Yeah, you see this? It's on the inside. It's on the inside. What were they thinking? So I had to cut holes and then tape them to put the suction cups to stick to the glass because they won't stick to that. And even if they did, that moves. So you're going to ask, why don't you just take that out? Hey, great idea, because I thought, oh, okay, it's just set in there for the packaging. Makes sense, right? Like, when you buy these things, sometimes accessories are inside. So you're like, okay, I'm gonna unbundle this, right? Wrong. It's glued. There's a strip of glue about a quarter of the way down that goes all the way from the left to right. I tried to peel it, and it just was ripping the crap out of the backdrop. Why on earth would you glue that in there? Use some clear tape on the four corners. I get it. They didn't want it to fall, or maybe they want you to leave it in there permanently. If they want you to leave it in there permanently, what the heck is wrong with them? You can't suction cup to the back wall then. That's a huge disaster, right, Mr. Freeze? See, I said his name, he looked up. Good boy. I know. That's a huge disaster. What if I want to just move things around? What is this? Why are you wanting to tell me if I can and cannot suction cup to the back glass, which is the longest piece of glass? If I wanted to put some fake ledges that I suction cup on, hammocks, I got to cut these holes? You got to be kidding me. It's because it's glued on the top half too. It wasn't even like I could go in through the cable management, slide the wire underneath for something, and have it come out the bottom. No, can't even do that because there's no access. Zoomed, what were you thinking? Like, how did this get approved? These tolerances that are bad. It's not a cheaper tank. It's not a more expensive tank. They're the exact same cost. And this is cheap. And we're going to just go in front of an Exo Terra. If you don't know those things I pointed out, and I'm going to point out some of the things I pointed out here. But before we go, Let's see if we can give Mr. Freeze a collard green. Hi. What's this? Oh. Yummy? Is that yummy? I've been yelling. Alright, let's go. But anyways, this tank sucks. This is perfect. We're just going to come to the gaming board, and we have Maleficent's tank right next to John Wesley's tank. They're both Exo Terra. Okay, so what are we talking about? So, look at the fit and finish of the glass. They come right up. I mean, they are just right up. They're not touching, but they might as well be. Same thing on the side. It comes right up. No, it's not a fluke. There's the side. Here's the middle. Right up. Gorgeous. Now, here's the latch system that I talked about. You bend this. You got to pull these tabs. It's not as good as the Zoom Ed idea, but Zoom Ed, poor execution, because look, I can pull this, I can open this, even with stuff on top. This is nice, thick, hard plastic. It doesn't move. I can open and shut, gorgeous. Beautiful tolerance. Now this are these bigger holes that I talked about. So again, you know, but then let's look at the top. What if I wanted to make this humidity? So here's the Zoom Ed, it's all one piece. I can just come, take some ducting tape, and easily tape over it with this metal ducting tape. It's metal tape, it's supposed to use for like your ducts, and boom, humidify it, proof. Nice. Latch system, look at the tolerance, this lid doesn't move, and again, if people didn't know, here's that slider I talk about. Multiple holes in here, and the one I'm using, shut the slider for the other ones. Again, keep the humidity in, keep things nice. Zoom Ed, you want to be good, and you want to put that sticker on the front, but that's a cheap tank for an expensive cost, for the same cost. Right, Maleficent? Yes. What is she doing? Oh, isn't she gorgeous? Anyways, guys, hope I could help you. You know, I saw the reviews on Amazon. I looked at it in the store, but I feel like I have to take it out and make a video. I had to experience it for firsthand so I could tell people, is it really cheap like they said on Amazon? Yes, it's cheap. The product is cheap. The QA is not good. Maybe the design is not good. It sucks. Take care.
Thank you guys for supporting my reptile rescue family.